Before the chaotic noise of the world rushes in to steal another ounce of your attention, before you give another drop of your sacred, finite energy to the endless, exhausting demands of everyone else's reality, I need you to completely pause. I need you to stop exactly where you are, right in this very second. I want you to detach from the frantic timeline of your day. Detach from the notifications lighting up your screen, and detach from the heavy, invisible list of responsibilities that you constantly carry around in your mind. Before your brain starts racing toward the endless list of things you need to fix, maintain, or manage for other people, I need you to simply stop. I want you to take a deep, intentional, completely focused breath right now. Please, for the sake of your own spirit, do not skip this step. Do not rush through this moment as if it is just another task to complete. This is the foundation of everything that is about to follow. We have just crossed a massive, staggering threshold in the cosmos, and we are now standing in the stark, uncompromising, and brilliantly clear light of the 31st of March, 2026. If yesterday was about laying the heavy, indestructible stones of your new foundation, today is the profound, undeniable climax of the karmic turning point. This is not a day for gentle, slow transitions. It is not a day for chaotic emotional breakdowns or fleeting, temporary whims that will vanish by tomorrow morning. The energy of March 31 is a cosmic, surgical removal. It is an energetic mandate from the highest levels of the universe to clean house. Right now, the sun is blazing in the fierce, independent, forward-moving, and pioneering sign of Aries, initiating a completely new, sovereign cycle of your life. Aries does not wait. Aries does not apologize for taking up space. Aries is the spark of pure, unadulterated life force that demands to move forward. At the exact same time, Saturn, the great lord of karma, the keeper of time, the planet of absolute structure and brutal accountability, is standing firm in the cosmos, acting as a massive, immovable wall. Saturn is ensuring that you do not drag the dead, rotting weight of the past into this newly forged timeline. And as the day bleeds into the night, the moon is making a highly significant, deeply felt shift. It is moving away from the dramatic, fiery, and highly expressive energy of Leo and transitioning directly into the meticulous, grounded, purifying, and highly analytical sign of Virgo. But there is an even deeper, more ancient, and incredibly potent layer to this frequency. In the profound, time-tested wisdom of Eastern astrology, the 31st of March 2026 carries the formidable, unyielding energy of the wood dragon, and it is officially, specifically designated as a remove day. Listen to the sound of my voice, and let this truth penetrate the very marrow of your bones. A remove day is not about building. It is not about adding more effort, more conversations, more chances, or more painful compromises to your life. It is the undeniable, absolute energetic mandate to cut away, clear out, and ruthlessly eliminate everything that is fundamentally broken, toxic, and no longer serving your highest evolutionary good. It is not a day for creation. It is a day for necessary, beautiful, liberating destruction of the things that have been slowly destroying you. For the past several months, or perhaps even for years, you have been vibrating with the agonizing anxiety of trying to maintain the unmaintainable. You have been operating under the tragic, exhausting illusion that you could save a failing connection, a toxic environment, or a broken person by simply adding more of yourself to it. You deeply, fundamentally, and purely believed that if you just added more patience, more profound understanding, more forgiveness, and more of your precious, glowing life force, you could somehow miraculously fill the massive, gaping holes in their character. You became an energetic hoarder. You held onto the almosts. You held onto the rare, fleeting, microscopic moments of their potential. You collected their empty promises, their half-hearted apologies, and their future faking, and you stored them in your heart, fiercely convincing yourself that one day, if you just waited long enough, they would magically transform into the stability you so desperately craved. You fell in love with a promise. You fell in love with a ghost. You fell in love with a potential that had absolutely no foundation in the physical reality you were actually living in. You fell in love with the intoxicating, cinematic moments where they promised to change, where they promised to finally step up, and where they promised to be the stable, consistent, loving partner you so desperately needed and so entirely deserved. You took those empty, hollow words and you tried to build an entire, sweeping, beautiful life out of them. You became a tireless, unpaid, energetic laborer, constantly, relentlessly trying to shore up their weaknesses, cover for their mistakes, and manage their chaotic emotions. You told yourself they were just misunderstood. You told yourself they just needed a little more time, a little more grace, a little more space. You told yourself their agonizing lack of effort was actually a secret, hidden sign of how much they were struggling internally. You analyzed their trauma, their childhood, their past, and their endless excuses, and you used all of that brilliant empathy against yourself as a reason to lower your own standards. You thought your tireless, agonizing, bone-deep effort could somehow miraculously compensate for their total, blatant lack of commitment. You thought if you just proved your unshakable loyalty, if you just stood by them through one more preventable storm, if you just loved them hard enough to fix them, they would finally reward you with the peace and stability you were starving for. You have been living your entire life as a highly dedicated, deeply exhausted contractor for a house you do not even own. You have spent your precious time, your hard-earned money, your mental sanity, your youth, your physical health, and your deepest, most sacred prayers on a project that was never, ever meant to be completed. You have been keeping all the lights on, paying the energetic bills, and guarding the door for a building that fundamentally has no roof. You have been exhausted, utterly and cellularly drained, because you have been trying with all your might to plant a beautiful, thriving, blossoming garden in soil that is completely, undeniably toxic and barren. But your soul knows the brutal, liberating truth. And the Virgo moon, combined with the heavy, unyielding Saturnian reality check and the fierce Eros sun of March 31, is stepping in today. The universe is looking you directly in the eyes, grabbing you by the shoulders, and forcing you to finally acknowledge this absolute, liberating fact. You cannot build a castle with someone who is only interested in staying in the ruins. You cannot create a stable, peaceful, secure reality with a partner who is secretly, fundamentally addicted to their own chaos. You cannot do the character building for another adult human being. You cannot love someone into being ready for you. This massive planetary alignment, this intense remove day, is entirely dissolving the lingering, pathetic, painful hope that you can somehow save someone who is actively choosing to drown. What you are going to experience right now, under the intense, purifying frequency of this cosmic turning point, is a sudden, quiet, and incredibly powerful shift in your internal focus. The agonizing, breathless waiting, the desperate, clawing need for them to finally change, the constant, obsessive checking of their social media for signs of growth, the analyzing of their silences, it is going to suddenly, quietly, and entirely stop. It is going to evaporate like mist burning off in the morning sun. You are going to find yourself suddenly struck by a profound, practical need for order, cleanliness, and precision in your own physical reality. You will want to organize your workspace, scrub your floors, balance your finances, throw away old clothes, or finally commit to a routine that actually nourishes your physical body. You will want to clear your literal, physical space. This is the Virgo moon, stepping in, taking the broom, and redirecting your scattered, wasted, heavily diluted life force back into your own sovereign vessel. Out of nowhere, as you align with the energy of the wood dragon, a sense of clinical detachment will settle heavily and beautifully into your bones. Do not mistake this for bitterness. I need you to understand this distinction deeply. Bitterness means you are still actively participating in the unseen power struggle. Bitterness means you are still angry, and anger means you still care. Anger means you are still waiting for an apology that is never going to come. What you are experiencing right now is not a lack of emotion, and it is certainly not bitterness. It is a profound, deeply necessary, and highly empowering emotional fortification. It is the majestic, untouchable, and wildly intimidating peace of absolute indifference. The emotional debt is finally paid in full. You will look back at the relationship, the broken promises, the endless waiting, the gaslighting, and the years of exhausting fixing, and you will feel absolutely nothing but a calm, elevated, completely grounded sense of done. You will see them not as a tragic, destined soulmate who just couldn't figure it out, and you will not even see them as an evil villain who purposefully tried to destroy you. You will simply see them exactly as they are, without the filter of your empathy, a person who simply lacked the discipline, the courage, the depth, and the integrity to match the staggering, beautiful magnitude of your vision. You will finally, at a deep cellular level, realize that their tragic failure to build a life with you had absolutely nothing to do with your inherent value, your beauty, or your worth as a partner. It was never because you didn't do enough. It was never because you weren't pretty enough, smart enough, successful enough, or patient enough. It was a glaring, blinding, unmistakable reflection of their own internal laziness, their own profound fear of true intimacy, and their absolute terror of taking accountability for their own life. They could not walk the path with you because they never learned how to carry their own weight, and you finally realize that you are no longer willing to carry it for them. And as you finally drop this impossibly heavy burden, as you align with the cosmic mandate to cut the cord on this remove day, you are going to feel a literal, physical stabilization in your physical body. The chronic, vibrating anxiety in your stomach will cease. The tight, painful tension in your lower back and your shoulders will finally release. Your breath will become deep, even, and rhythmic. You will walk with a heavier, more certain step, and you will finally sleep with a profound peace you haven't known in years. You are taking your immense, staggering power back from the ruins of the past. But here is the most fascinating, complex, and highly predictable part of this energetic shift. And you must listen very, very closely with your entire being so you are deeply, practically prepared for what is about to manifest in your 3D reality over the coming days. Let us talk about the karmic echo, the final inspection, and the phenomenon of the sudden return. In the unseen spiritual realms, energy is entirely governed by universal law. It is physics. For months or years, you were the one constantly bending the rules for them. You were their constant, reliable, ever-present excuse. You were actively, daily, directing a massive, glowing, powerful stream of your vital life force directly into their crumbling, unstable, chaotic reality. You were their energetic battery. They unconsciously, selfishly, and completely relied on this. Your unseen, spiritual, and emotional labor was the only thing keeping them from facing the devastating, necessary consequences of their own actions. They knew your porch light was permanently left on for them, no matter how many times they left you in the dark. They knew they had a permanent safety net in you that required absolutely zero consistent effort, zero change, and zero accountability on their part. But as the powerful, sobering, absolute, remove day energy of March 31 takes full hold of your spirit, you are going to finally, permanently, and ruthlessly unplug that energy. You are removing their access to your light. You are flipping the switch. You are closing the bank account. When you do this, when you actually, truly, deep down in your soul, stop the unseen labor, they are going to feel the crash. They will feel the chilling, freezing draft of your absence instantly, regardless of the physical distance between you. The energetic scaffolding you provided for their ego, the invisible safety net you held under their bad decisions, will vanish overnight. Because of this massive, violent, energetic disruption in their world, they are going to experience a sudden, frantic, desperate urge to check the gate. Because Mercury is deeply involved in this karmic turning point, highlighting communication and raw, inescapable truth, the past is going to feel this sudden severance, and they will try to communicate. This is why the universe operates with such profound, almost comical irony. The exact moment you truly, authentically, down to your very bones, do not care about them anymore, that is the exact, precise moment they will feel the desperate, clawing need to prove they can change. They will hover in your energy field like someone trying to violently demand a refund for a project they never even funded. They will likely start manifesting in your physical reality in highly predictable, utterly transparent ways. They might send a long, formal, surprisingly articulate, and seemingly vulnerable message about how they are finally doing the work now. They might suddenly post about their new routines, their new therapist, or their fake, shallow commitments on social media just to catch your eye. They might send a text message that sounds strangely mature, claiming they finally, deeply understand all the pain they caused you and they are ready to be the person you always wanted. They might try to trigger your deeply ingrained empathy, knowing exactly what emotional buttons to push, what memories to bring up, to make you feel guilty for finally walking away. They will throw a serious breadcrumb in your direction to see if your boundaries are still negotiable. They want to check if the remove day was just a temporary threat or if you actually, truly changed the locks on the door. They want to check if the unpaid laborer is still available for hire. They want to see if they can still get free, unearned access to your high vibrational stability without having to actually do the brutal, heavy lifting of sustaining their own. In the past, this is exactly where you would have stumbled. This is the exact moment where your beautiful, empathetic, profoundly forgiving heart would have been moved by their microscopic, performative effort. You would have eagerly, desperately dropped your own tools, abandoned your own healing, and run straight back into the burning building to save them. You would have convinced yourself this was the miracle you prayed for. You would have drafted a massive, carefully worded, paragraphs-deep explanation of your feelings. You would have engaged. You would have argued, cried, pleaded, and ultimately, you would have let them right back into your sacred space, adding their exhausting chaos right back onto your plate. You would have abandoned your own construction site all over again for a temporary, fleeting moment of their potential maturity. But not this time, not today, not under the blazing, uncompromising, Aries sun and the purifying, absolute Virgo moon of March 31. The version of you that existed before this massive energy shift is entirely, irrevocably gone. The version of you that was willing to trade your peace of mind, your physical health, and your brilliant, radiant future for a temporary, pathetic hit of false validation is dead. When they reach out, when they circle back with their new and improved energy, you are going to experience the ultimate, final, triumphant test of your new foundation. The universe is going to hand you this test not to torture you, not to punish you, but to allow you to prove to yourself exactly how incredibly solid, powerful, and unshakable you have become. And you are going to pass it with flying, undeniable, beautiful colors. You are going to look at their message lighting up your phone. You are going to look at their pathetic, transparent attempt to disrupt your hard-won order. And you are going to feel absolute, unshakable, deafening silence. No panic, no fluttering in your chest, no tiny, dangerous spark of hope, no sudden urge to check their progress or analyze their words. No desperate desire to call your friends to decode what they really mean this time. You will simply observe it, like a detached, highly elevated, master architect looking at a condemned, rotting building that was scheduled for demolition years ago. You will look at the breadcrumb, you will look at the manipulation, and you will calmly, beautifully, and powerfully realize that you are building a magnificent skyscraper, and you are entirely, permanently done trying to decorate a shack. You will not respond out of a desperate, wounded need to be heard or understood. You will not type out a long explanation of why it is finally too late. You will not demand the sincere apologies you used to cry yourself to sleep for. You will realize, with profound clarity, that your absolute silence is the most powerful, devastating truth you could ever possibly speak. You will realize that the greatest, most profound closure is not a final, dramatic, tear-filled conversation. It is a life beautifully, quietly, and firmly well-built. Closure is an internal, unilateral, private decision to simply remove them from your narrative and keep building your own world. You will leave them on read, both digitally and energetically. You will let them sit in the profound, highly uncomfortable silence of the bed they made for themselves. You will turn your back to the burning bridge, and you will protect your newly cleared construction site with the absolute ferocity of a guardian protecting a sacred, golden temple. This is the exact, precise moment your entirely new romantic blueprint is born. By refusing to engage with the unstable, lower frequency, chaotic energy of the past, by fiercely honoring the mandate of this remove day, and by absolutely refusing to step foot back into the ruins, you are sending the most powerful, blindingly clear signal to the universe. You are declaring, without a single word, that your time, your physical body, your emotional labor, and your precious energy are now strictly, non-negotiably reserved for high-vibrational, deeply stable, and fiercely committed realities. You are showing the universe that you finally, truly know you are worth the investment. You are clearing the runway so that true, authentic, soul-aligned love can finally land. You are fundamentally rewriting your understanding of connection. You are realizing that true, authentic, soul-deep love does not feel like a grueling, exhausting, one-sided construction project that you have to manage all by yourself. It does not feel like an agonizing, painful mystery you have to solve at 3 a.m. while they sleep soundly. It does not require you to constantly suppress your own needs, shrink your brilliant vision, walk on eggshells, or perform exhausting, endless emotional labor just to be given basic, human consistency and respect. True love feels like relief. It feels like the deepest, most grounding exhale you have ever taken in your entire life. True love feels like a joint venture. It feels like two sovereign, healed adults bringing their own incredibly solid, independently built foundations together to build an absolute empire. True love feels profoundly, shockingly, beautifully safe. It is a connection where communication is crystal clear, where actions flawlessly match words, and where you never, ever have to play the role of a savior, a mother, or an unpaid therapist. It is a partnership where your deep discipline is matched, where your fierce ambition is celebrated, where your softness is protected, and where you never, ever have to wonder for a single second if the person standing next to you will still choose you tomorrow, because you have finally cleared out the toxic debris, because you have utilized the profound, surgical energy of March 31 to sweep your spiritual and physical house completely clean. You are now highly, dangerously, undeniably magnetic to this exact type of radical stability. But you cannot rush this final stage of the process. You cannot fake this vibration. You cannot bypass the necessary discipline of the remove day to get to the manifestation. If you feel the intense, sudden need to be incredibly productive today, to throw away old keepsakes, delete phone numbers, unfollow accounts, scrub your house top to bottom. I want you to honor that impulse. If you feel the need to sit in absolute, unbroken, dark silence for hours to simply clear your mind and let your nervous system reset, I want you to honor that too. Let the physical, tangible act of removal be your deepest spiritual prayer today. Let the work be the healing. Understand that your fierce discipline right now is not a sign of coldness. It is the literal, physical manifestation of radical self-love. It is the sacred, holy act of finally keeping your own promises to yourself. And as you do this, as you clear the space, you must allow yourself to fully, deeply, and gently honor the version of you that had to survive the horrific chaos just to learn how to build this necessary peace. You must forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for all of it. I want you to say it out loud right now, wherever you are. Let the sound of your own voice break the silence. I forgive myself for holding on when I desperately needed to let go. I forgive myself for trying to build a kingdom on sinking sand. I forgive myself for pouring my pure, golden magic into a bottomless pit. I forgive myself for loving people who were fundamentally, intrinsically incapable of matching my effort. I forgive myself for abandoning my own beautiful structure. I forgive myself for believing that my love could cure someone else's absolute unwillingness to grow. You did the absolute best you could with the tools, the deep trauma, and the limited awareness you had at that time. You had a beautiful, open heart, and you wanted to believe the best in people. Do not punish the past version of yourself for not being a master architect yet. Do not judge your past self with the profound wisdom you only gained by surviving their betrayal. You have the skills now. You have graduated from the brutal school of karmic attachments. You have a significantly sharper vision. You have built an impenetrable, glowing, magnificent fortress of radical self-respect, and you are never, ever tearing it down for anyone again. The timeline you are stepping into right now, governed by this powerful March 31 karmic turning point, the fierce Aries sun and the purifying Virgo moon, is lighter, brighter, and infinitely more stable than anything you have ever left behind. You are not losing anything of value today. You are simply, beautifully, and necessarily taking out the trash. The profound, purifying astrological energy of this moment is the powerful cosmic wind at your back, clearing your path and pushing you gently but incredibly firmly into the new, highly elevated, wildly peaceful reality you always deserved but were once too deeply afraid to claim for yourself. Take one final, deep, grounding, entirely present breath. Place your right hand firmly, heavily over your solar plexus, the center of your stomach, the seat of your raw power, your will, and your newly reclaimed absolute sovereignty. Close your eyes, drop your focus entirely into your physical body. Feel the steady, reliable, powerful, unbroken rhythm of your own life force pumping through your veins. Feel the solid, undeniable strength of your own physical form. That is your ultimate truth. That is your magic. That is your true, permanent, unshakable home. Everything outside of this physical body is just an experience, just a fleeting reflection of where you were at a certain point in time, just a lesson you had to learn. But this center, this beautiful, glowing, untouchable core within you is entirely yours. It belongs to no one else, and it is completely, eternally impervious to anyone else's chaos, manipulation, or instability. If this message entirely bypassed your logical, doubting mind and spoke directly, intimately, and profoundly to your spirit today, if you felt the profound physical stabilization in your energy, the massive, overwhelming relief of the karmic cord finally being cut, and the deep, emotional sense of coming home to yourself as you listen to these words, do not let this powerful, timeline shifting moment pass unacknowledged. Like this video. Do this not out of a mindless internet habit, but as a deliberate, physical, silent, powerful declaration to the universe that you are finally, truly, entirely ready to remove the ruins and build the life, the profound peace, and the staggering love that you deserve. Go to the comments below and share your vow of release. Declare exactly, specifically, what you are cutting away and removing from your life today. Let your typed words serve as a heavy, undeniable, permanent energetic anchor for your brand new timeline. Do not hold back. There is immense, undeniable, transformative power in witnessing each other's spiritual clearing and realizing you are not stepping into this brand new, elevated world alone. Your story, your exact words, your moment of profound realization might be the exact, precise truth someone else desperately needs to read today to keep themselves from running back to the very ruins that almost destroyed them. Be the lighthouse for someone else who is still lost in the fog. Subscribe to this channel to remain deeply, securely connected to this high, purified, sovereign frequency as we continue to navigate these profound, life-altering cosmic shifts together in the coming months. We are building an empire of peace, and you are a vital part of it. Breathe in the absolute, crystal-clear, brilliant reality of this present moment. Fill your lungs to the very brim with the vibrant, golden, highly charged energy of your completely cleared, beautifully pristine foundation. Exhale the heavy, tired, pathetic, exhausting echoes of the past. Blow them away into the ether where they belong. They hold no power over you anymore. You are profoundly safe. You are completely sovereign. You are beautifully, miraculously, entirely whole. The debris is cleared, the massive foundation is set, and your completely new, wildly stable, beautiful reality begins right now. Welcome home to yourself,